I get it, you've spent hours scrolling through glossy images of projector screens that promise movie theater quality, only to have the first real-world test feel flat, washed out, or worse, a visible grey haze that ruins the picture. You're probably wondering how many more look-good-on-paper screens you'll have to try before you finally land on something that actually lives up to its hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That's why I'm breaking down the AWOL Vision 120-inch fixed-frame Serriform ALR screen, so you can avoid another disappointing purchase. Projector screens are a strange subcategory because the product you buy isn't the thing you actually see on the wall, the screen is just the canvas for the image your projector throws. The biggest headache for most buyers is ambient light. Even a decent laser projector can look washed out when sunlight or ceiling fixtures bounce off a glossy white surface. That's why the market pushes ambient light rejecting, ALR, screens, but the terminology can be confusing. Some ALR screens claim 70% rejection, others 90%. The numbers sound impressive until you test them in a typical living room where you can't control every lamp. The AWOL Vision model tackles the ambient light problem head-on with a 95% ceiling light rejecting coating. In practice, that means if you have a ceiling-mounted fixture or a window just a few feet above the screen, the glare is cut down dramatically compared to a standard matte white. I've seen a friend set up his screen in a bright family room with a ceiling LED strip, and the contrast stayed crisp enough for a 1080p projector to look almost 4K. The 120-inch diagonal, roughly 105.6 feet, is a sweet spot for most home theater setups, giving you a true cinematic aspect without overwhelming a 100-inch wall. What sets this screen apart is the Serriform surface. Instead of a smooth white, the surface has a subtle, repeating pattern that helps scatter incoming ambient light while preserving the projector's own light. The effect is a bit like a frosted glass that still lets your image shine through. In day-to-day use, that pattern is invisible to the eye when the projector is on, but it does a solid job of diffusing stray light. The result is a more uniform picture across the whole panel, especially useful if you're watching fast-moving sports or gaming where any hotspot can be distracting. Installation is where many fixed frames trip up, but AWOL Vision keeps it straightforward. The frame is a sturdy aluminum rail that mounts directly to the wall with pre-drilled holes and a simple bracket system. You don't need a professional to level it, a bubble level and a drill are enough. Because the screen is fixed, you can't roll it up or pull it down, which means you have to be confident about the placement before you bolt it in. The trade-off is that you avoid the motor noise and potential mechanical failures of motorized screens, and the frame stays perfectly taut for years. If you're a gamer, the ultra-wide 170-degree viewing angle is a genuine advantage. Most screens are optimized for a central viewing spot, but this one maintains color fidelity and brightness out to the edges of a typical couch spread. In a test where 3 friends sat across a 3-meter width, none reported a noticeable drop in brightness or color shift, even at the outermost seats. That's a big deal for multiplayer sessions where everyone wants a fair view of the HUD and details. The strengths are clear: high ambient light rejection, a wide sweet spot for multiple viewers, and a surface that stays consistent under different lighting conditions. The screen also comes with American-based customer service, which can be a relief when you need a replacement part or have a question about mounting hardware. Those are the reasons why the 4.4-star average from 81 reviewers is solid. Most owners seem pleased with the core performance. On the flip side, there are a couple of practical downsides you should weigh. First, the fixed 120-inch size means you need to have enough wall space and a projector that can fill that width from your throw distance. Ultra-short throw, UST, projectors pair well, but a standard throw projector might need to sit farther back, which not every living room can accommodate. Second, the Serriform pattern, while helpful for light rejection, can be a bit unforgiving if you ever need to clean the screen. A gentle microfiber wipe works, but aggressive scrubbing can damage the coating and reduce its ALR efficiency over time. Finally, because it's a fixed frame, you lose the flexibility of a portable or roll-up screen if you ever want to move the setup to a different room. So, who should consider this screen? If you have a dedicated home theater room or a living room setup where you can mount the screen permanently, and you're dealing with at least a moderate amount of ceiling light, the AWOL Vision 120-inch is a strong candidate. It also shines for gamers who sit at varying angles or families who watch movies together on a big couch. The price point lands it in the mid.